In counseling, I was told I had to find my new normal. Now, I didn't know what that meant or what that looked like, but on the quest for this new normal, I got stuck in thinking about how horrible my life was gonna be. But I knew that life was not gonna be the same. Everybody's life went on like normal. Mine did too, but it didn't look anything like normal. I never wanted to be seen as needy or broken or weak. And unfortunately, some people saw me just like that. But I knew that I had to protect myself. So I decided I'm gonna have to fake my way through life. So that meant making things look like they were okay, hoping they would be okay, but still kind of knowing that it wasn't gonna be okay. And in doing that, people said, she doesn't need me. So I didn't get a lot of the support that I truly did need to get through my grief. Then I said, I'm gonna get myself into busy mode. So I'm thinking if I move from one moment to the next, I won't have time to think or feel about anything in regard to my losses.
Let me tell you how you can support a grieving widow years later. Quite simply, talk about their person who died. Being okay and being resilient are unconscious pressures placed on people in grief. Doing well in the face of adversity is so subjective. If resilience looks at your capacity to recover quickly from a difficult situation and bounce back to normal, there is simply no resilience possible from this type of loss. I can't bounce back to the life I had. I will never get back a future that is forever gone. Resiliency for widows isn't about bouncing back. It's about creating a meaningful life with the way things are now. His life and his death influenced and shaped me into who I am today. And while not all widows want to talk about their dead husband, I can tell you that when I feel free to do so, I'm comforted by my memories that continue to have this place to live. He should be here to watch his children grow up, but he's not here. He's missing and is going to continue missing all the milestones. So when you think about when would be a tough time for a widow, check in when things are seemingly really good. If we stop talking about people after they die, then really, what are they being remembered for?
I remember the day of his funeral vividly. It was bitterly cold, like the step outside and your breath is taken away type of cold. The type of cold that makes you not want to be anywhere else but in your home. The type of cold that could leave your hands and feet numb. And the cold perfectly described how I was feeling at the time. My dad's death took not only my breath, but a piece of my heart away. How could this be my actual life? I often think of that day and how it affected so many people. I get mad, I get sad, I get depressed, and if there's one thing I've learned, it's that feelings, whether good or bad, are normal. And that what's not normal is ignoring our present situation because society tells us that being anything but happy is less than. And I am standing in front of all of you, sharing the deepest pain that I've ever felt, because I believe strongly in the idea that we need to stop holding ourselves to the standard that we're mentally strong enough to handle all of life's challenges, and start acknowledging that feelings of vulnerability are okay.
So let's focus on the most insensitive comment of all time, and the one that I feel is the most harmful. You need to move on. Get over it. Get on with your life. Let me say this as simply as I can. When it comes to the death of someone that you love, there is no such thing as moving on. It's a lie. It's a made-up concept created by people who are too uncomfortable with death and sadness and grief. But here's the thing. It's not their fault. They are only repeating what has become familiar to them throughout the years, what's been taught to them by society over and over again. You need to move on is a phrase born out of centuries of ignorance and fear, because grief feels a hell of a lot like fear. Taking away someone's connection to someone they love who has died, what purpose does that serve? What kind of message are we sending? That the people we love are replaceable? That the love you have for your daughter, your mother, your brother, your best friend has an expiration date? That their life didn't really matter? When someone you love dies and you are told over and over again to move on, something inside of you breaks. And when that happens, you don't really feel much like living anymore. You figure, hey, why should I stick around when I'm not allowed to continue to love my person that I miss? So you start isolating. You keep to yourself. Your world becomes smaller and smaller. You disappear. This is not the way to honor love, to honor those that we love who have died. You can't move on from love. Love is the only thing that never dies. If there's no such thing as moving on, then what is it that I'm proposing? What is the message that we need to make contagious in the hearts and minds of people? The message that will change people's minds and in turn, change the world? Love grows more love. All good things are born out of love. So what if instead of saying to someone, hey, stop talking about your brother, we said, tell me more about your brother who died? What if instead of trying to fix people, we sat with them inside of their pain and we let them tell us what comes next? What if we got rid of the phrase move on and instead began to move with and move through our losses? Imagine what could happen.
I've learned firsthand that telling someone how to grieve is not helpful, and in fact causes more harm than good. It puts horrible, horrible pressure on the person for making them feel as if there's something wrong with them, for feeling whatever it is that they need to feel in order to get through it. Grief, much like the ocean, never ends. It ebbs and it flows. It shifts and it changes. And we'll never know when we're going to get hit with another wave. And with each wave, I can't stress this enough, it's crucial that we gotta feel it to heal it. Grief needs to be shared, not judged. And words such as, you must miss him. I'm here for you. This must be so hard. You will get through this, are enough to help support a person who is grieving. If we give ourselves and others the space to grieve in whatever way they need to, this whole idea that we have to move on, well, we don't move on, we move forward.